up with a speedy guard. Great screen, spin move, layup, he missed it. Williamson fights for the board. His putback is good.
Welcome, everybody, to the first Straight Outta WAC After Hours of the 2025-26 season. As usual, I'm Kyle. With me is Daryl. And, well, we're back, Daryl, after a busy summer. I don't want to say busy. It was kind of I don't know if it was busy for you. It was kind of dull for me. A lot of watching conference realignment take place, a lot of golf, softball. Didn't go on many trips this year. Went back to the Windy City in July. I got to see 2 Cubs wins. That was fantastic. But other than that, kind of I don't want to say a depressing summer as we get ready for this final go of what's now the Western Athletic Conference that's been around since
the Kennedy administration.
I know that people say, well, it's still around. No, once they rebrand to the United Athletic Conference, the Western Athletic Conference is dead. Let's just be real about that. Like, if anybody wants to disagree with me, go ahead. That's fine. But as long as it's no longer called the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference, that league is gone. So, final go around. And if you've been on WACHoopsNation.com, you've read a couple of articles I've written recently about that. Just conference realignment, man, Daryl. That's all I can say. If anybody, has any comments or thoughts on it, go ahead and comment away. We're not going to really get into that tonight, but a once proud league that had 13? Were we at 13 or 15 teams?
Yeah, mid 2000s it was like 13. I want to say with Louisiana Tech and SMU.
5 years within this last 5 years, it was at I think 13 was the max that we had in 2022-23, and then that's when Sam Houston, New Mexico State left. UIW reneged, right, on their thing to join. Lamar left after the 2023-24 season.
SFA,
UTRGV and SFA leave. After the 2024-25 season, GCU was leaving. Seattle U is left. We're down to 7 of what could have been, as far as basketball fans go, what could have been an amazing mid-major basketball. It was the third highest ranked mid-major in KenPom in 2022-23. Actually, it might have been the fourth. So I think it was the American, the West Coast, and the Mountain West were ahead of them. That's it.
Okay.
Can you believe that? Like that's
it's mind-boggling to think about all this turnover in less than a decade. I mean, when you think about it, you'd expect this kind of turnover 10, 15-year period. No, not even a handful of years. And it's all post-COVID, too.
Yep. Yeah, the thing is, here's the way I look at it, okay? NBA Plowboy, howdy, guys. Good to see you. I watched the Tarleton State football team dominate Portland State on Saturday. That was a good win for them. Hopefully they can go, compete with the Army Black Knights up there at West Point on Saturday. So good luck.
Our good friend Kerry Johnston, the former ACU SID, is now up at West Point.
Yeah. So Texans played well on Saturday. Good to see him get off to the right start. Semifinal run. Yeah, we'll see. We got a long season of football to go. So one game at a time. I think Kyle Cruz told me today. I was messaging him. I don't have it here. I text messaged him to see how he was doing, and he said it best. I'll read it here. He just said, "Week at a time. That's what Tarleton football needs to focus on. They do that. They'll be fine." So, one game at a time. A lot of season. Anyways, Kyle is a man. Yes, Kyle is a man. He's taking care of his daughter. They had a baby. Him and Kimmy had a baby. So, always a pleasure. Anyways, 7 teams. But here's the way I see it. Seattle U belonged back in the West Coast Conference, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts. They were the outlier in the WAC, right? Grand Canyon, they aspired to bigger and better things. They wanted to go to the West Coast Conference, which they would have fit in there, but then Gonzaga left, so they wanted to go somewhere else. They got into the Mountain West. Don't know how they got it worked out to where they could compete this year in the Mountain West, which good for them. I'm happy to see they have a conference home this year. I know that those schools that are leaving, like the Utah States, Fresno State, San Diego States, those schools, Colorado States, I'm pretty sure that they didn't want to have anything to do with the Lopes this year. I'll be very honest about that. And people could disagree with me that, but I think those schools didn't want GCU in the league in their final year in the Mountain West. But that's another story. Sam Houston, they wanted to go FBS, which is fine. But there was an interesting quote today from Casey Keeler, their former coach, who took the job at Temple, back in his hometown in Philadelphia. And he said something that, like, Bobby, what's his name? The AD down there, Bobby Williams.
Yep.
At Sam Houston basically said, we just don't have the resources to pay you. We're going to put it into the stadium, but we don't have resources for NIL. We don't. And Keeler even mentioned that they're a mid FCS level budget team. So what they did last year, where they won 10 plus games and went to, won a bowl game and everything, like, that's crazy what they accomplished last year. So anyways, they made the jump to FBS. New Mexico State needed a home for their FBS football team. That's why they jumped when Conference USA came calling. Now they put all their sports under one umbrella, right? They're not an independent anymore. SFA, I think the change of the president and the change of the AD pushed them back into the Southland Conference. UTRGV, I think they saw a better opportunity because they have football now starting. This year, actually, this is their first year of FCS football, of Division I football, and they were closer with some regional rivalries, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and some of those Southland schools. So they saw that and made that jump. So I'm going on and on here, Daryl. I didn't want to do this tonight because I'm so, like, conference realignment when the Big Ten, rated the Pac-12, when the ACC rated the Pac-12. It's just screwy what's going on.
And now we're going from expansion coast to coast to contraction. Like Dan Nielsen said, remember when we talked with Dan Nielsen last year, he said he thought contraction would happen pretty soon. I don't think we thought it would happen this quickly.
Yeah. So as you can tell, I'm still disappointed. I'm excited for a new year. It is going to be the first year that neither New Mexico State or GCU will win the WAC tournament on the men's side. So that'll be a first. I think that's the first time since, Bakersfield won it in the mid-2010s.
Was it at 16 or something like that? 15?
16, I thought. Maybe it was 15 or 16. But that was the only time a team not named New Mexico State or GCU won it. So it'll be interesting to see who. Okay, so out of the 7 teams that we have left, UT Arlington's gone to the NCAA tournament and ACU's gone to the NCAA tournament. None of the other 5. Oh, Southern Utah has 2. So 3 out of the 7 teams have. CBU, Utah Valley, Tarleton State, and Utah Tech. None of those 4 have gone to the NCAA tournament. So will it be somebody's first trip to the NCAA tournament? On the men's side, this is, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's the same thing on the women's side, if I remember.
Women, Southern Utah, CBU have been.
So that's 2.
Oh, ACU has been.
Okay, so that's 3.
Nobody else, I don't think, has gone in.
UT Arlington's never been in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, wait, yeah. The 2022 or whatever it was. So Sharika's been, so that's 4.
Yeah, Sharika's taken the Lady Mavs there. So 3 teams. Was that 3? Yeah, 3 teams. So Utah Tech, Tarleton State, and then
Utah Valley. Oh, no, Utah Valley went the COVID year.
Oh, that's right. They went the COVID year. So, okay, let's put it this way. 3 teams that haven't won a conference tournament title
to earn a spot.
To earn their spot, right?
Yeah.
Nothing against Dan Nielsen and UV going to the NCAA tournament. But
they went under the rules of that year. Yeah,
that was just a wacky. Molly Miller's probably still seething about that. They beat them in the semifinals. And but yeah, so with that being said, 2025-26. I know we said we were going to put out more content on beginning August 1st. Life gets busy, guys. It's August. I'm caught up in life. Okay, my son's 8 years old. He just started 3rd grade. Daughter is a senior right now. So there's a lot going on. Just got done playing old man slow pitch softball last weekend. Took second. Played 5 games last Sunday. So body's still recovering from that. Daryl's been covering a lot of golf and other things this summer. So, but he's also been doing a lot of podcast episodes with broadcasters and others around the league. So those are going to be coming out beginning this week as we get ramped up. But what we're going to do now, and Daryl has the picks, the strips. We're going to pick each team, and we're going to pick in 7 weeks, one team, a week. We're going to do a men's and a women's team. Okay. How many did you pick, Daryl?
I just the strips for the 7 teams for the women's draw.
Okay, so you got the women's draw. I don't have the men's draw. I
can draw the men's if you want me to.
Okay, we're gonna pull 2 at a time. Okay, and when you pull the 2 at a time, that's gonna be the. Oh, we're gonna
do it one. Do it one. Make it easy.
Okay,
do 7 for the men's.
We're gonna do the women's first. Okay, here's the women's week first. Okay, everybody, so be ready. So Daryl, pick one out of the hat, and this will be week 1. This will be next week's preview week for this women's team.
We're going to start on the women's side with Southern Utah.
Southern Utah, week 1, Tracy Mason's crew. A little bit of experience back. Ava Ulrich might be a player of the year dark horse. Just keep an eye on them. They won the WAC in 2022-23. You remember that year. Sharita Daughtry with the crazy wild shot in the WAC. What was that? WAC quarterfinals.
That was Wednesday night, right?
Yeah. So we got Southern Utah, Tracy Mason's crew. They will be first up next week. We will preview them throughout the week with different articles, a podcast episode. I think you had Spencer on, so he will be talking about Southern Utah women.
Yeah, and I had Ava on too.
Okay. Now let's do another women's team here.
UT Arlington.
UT Arlington. I really hope that Sharika is still over the anger that she had with me at the WAC tournament. Because I picked against the Lady Mavs a couple times in the semifinal game. One of their administrators came up to me in the press conference like, thank you for picking against us. It gave us motivation. And they played in that WAC title game, and even in that semifinal press conference, Sharika's like, we saw your tweet, Kyle. We saw your tweet. Just keep betting against us. And I'm telling you, if GCU doesn't get that steal on that last, I think it was a free throw miss?
Yeah.
Where they took it out of Avery Brittingham's hands. If that still doesn't happen, UT Arlington may have won that game. They would have caused some chaos right there.
Yeah.
Because they could have scored. They were out and running, right? So Sharika Wright's team, they got a chance to play in the WNIT. Got some more basketball. So very excited about them. Kendall Coleman is a name. Is it Kendall? It's not Kendall.
Kendall Robinson.
Kendall Robinson. That's right. Kendall Coleman was
all freshman selection.
Yeah, Kendall Robinson. Keep that name in mind for Sharika Wright's Lady Mavs. We'll preview them week 2. So what is that? September 8th, we will start previewing the Lady Mavs. Okay, Daryl, next one. And Cody Amaral, before you go there, GCU fan here, but still love Straight Outta WAC. Appreciate it, Cody. It is kind of weird not having a ton of GCU fans and New Mexico State fans anymore. I get, they've moved on and stuff. And there's a lot of New Mexico State fans that still follow. There's a lot of GCU fans that still follow. Hopefully both those squads will be able to do well this season. I did tell Todd Phillips that he needs to reach out to GCU to just get him on the schedule because Utah Valley needs ball games, right? But
yeah,
they were kind of reluctant there. So, yeah. All right, third team.
All right, team number 3 is going to be Abilene Christian.
Okay. Peyton Hull is going to be a player. she might be the preseason player of the year.
I would start her there.
The WAC, right? The only question I have for the Wildcats, this is the biggest question of them all, and I'm pretty sure Julie Goodenough, she's not one to let nightmares like ruin her night. Can they get past the first round of the WAC tournament? Like, can they get past it? Because they haven't since they joined the WAC. They've been close. They even had I think it was like a 9-point lead against Sam Houston a couple years ago, and they gave it away. So, like, can they get past the first round of the WAC tournament? If they can, and they have talent there, keep an eye on that. So that's my biggest question for ACU.
But they don't have the defensive acumen that they do now. This was one of the best defenses in the country last year for turnovers, 4 steals per game, those categories. And you saw it in that Utah Valley game where I know they lost that game on opening day of conference play, but still they kept somebody in the 60s.
Yeah. They got to win the WAC tournament, though. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season anymore. It's all about what you do in the WAC tournament. Speaking of the WAC tournament, there will be a new bracket. So the number 1 and number 2 seeds, I believe, again, they're doing the whole ladder thing. So if I remember right, what I was told is the 1 seed gets that bye to the semifinals.
Okay.
Everybody else has to play their way into that. So we'll see when it comes out, but that's what I was told, right? So it's so crucial to be the regular season champ. Well, you know what? I can't say that because the seeding system, I think, will still be in place. I hope not, but
as breakers or
tiebreakers, I think it will be again. So we'll see. Anyways, but being the 1 seed is huge this year in the WAC tournament. Okay, next team.
Utah Valley.
Danielson. They had their best season of the Division I era.
Yeah,
right?
WNIT win.
Yep.
Nearly beat Washington State in Pullman, and most of that team's still back.
They set the program record for wins this last season. I believe it was 19. I need to go back to their schedule. I didn't write this down. I should have. 19 wins is the program record, program best, right? I like most of their roster. Kylie Mabry, Amanda Barcelo's back. She had a big WAC tourney. Cambry Blackham, Sage Gibb, Kennedy Carlisle back. Holly Nelson, Tessa Cheney. He's got a lot of pieces back. And then he brought in a couple of transfers too. So we'll see what happens with the Wolverines. They should be good again. I think they're gonna miss Talia White though.
They are. They're gonna miss that sparring.
White, and they're gonna miss
Allie Criddle.
Allie Criddle is a team leader, point guard. But the one that I'm thinking of is Donja Stafford Collins. She was a big difference maker in the paint for them. She could score, and defend and rebound. So, but Utah Valley should be really good again. Keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on the Wolverines. So, next up. CBU, Jared Olson. All they do is win, win, win. Oh, wait. I need to – hopefully his kids are listening because they play that song. I tell you what, this guy – they may have had a down year, but, like, what he's done at CBU, I just – he's one of my favorites in this league. I'm not going to lie. Like, he, 2024-25 was their first losing season of the Division I era under Jared Olson. And they still finished 9-7 in league play. They were banged up most of the year. What was her name? The point guard,
Chloe Lemon.
Barros didn't play most of it.
Yeah.
Chloe Lemon didn't come on till late in conference play. I mean, they got Grace Schmidt, Chloe Lemon, Philippa, is back. She's still rehabbing, but they're expecting her to play. I don't know. There's just something about CBU that they just win. And so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. What Chloe Lemon have? She had a
39 against Utah Valley the first time.
Point game. She hit like 13 3-pointers or something like that.
11, which was the program's record. It tied the WAC's record at the time.
Yeah, crazy.
We actually I recorded with her and we relived that afternoon in the podcast episode for a little bit.
It's just one of those things where you see the ball go in the net. It keeps going in. So, anyways, let's keep going. CBU. We got 2 teams left.
Tarleton State.
What is that? September 29th. It's October what? October 6th. Okay. Tarleton State, Bill Brock's team. That guy can coach. I'm not gonna lie. He talks a lot in his post-game press conferences. He talks a lot in his podcasts. He's frank with people, but he's awesome. Like, I like Bill Brock. I think that was a great hire to bring him in, in Stephenville, and they've increased their wins, right, in both years under him.
Yeah.
And I think they could be a contender this year in the WAC. I really believe that.
This is going to be one of the biggest roster turnovers in the country, though. Brock and company have 11 newcomers.
And the way he recruits, like, that's just. I think they're going to be a contender. I really do. Which means October 13th, we will finish up with Utah Tech. JD Gustin, he's hoping that the
the Warren twins.
The Warren twins are back healthy. He's put Emily Isaacson. She is married. I can't remember her married name now. Chamberlain. Emily Isaacson Chamberlain, and Brianna Gillen are both on staff now.
Yeah.
So he's keeping it in-house here with his squad. And if the Warren sisters are healthy and have recovered from their ACL injuries that they suffered 2 years ago, right? They didn't play all of last year. This could be a very good Utah Tech team. The only thing is, can their knees hold up? Because they've had a couple of major knee injuries, among those 2 Warren sisters over the years. So we'll see. We'll see how that happens and if they can handle it. But JD Gustin, Utah Tech, it's a big if.
And beyond the Warren twins, a young core got a lot of minutes last year. Ellie Taylor, an all-freshman team selection. Chardonnay Hartley was 6th in the country, I believe it was, in assists. Bree Crittenden back for her senior year. And I'm excited to see that team about as much as anybody. Pretty solid not-in-conference schedule. We talked with Kylie Young a couple of weeks ago. That'll be coming out here soon. But, yeah, I think that there's reason for optimism in St. George.
Yeah. All right, Daryl, let's pick the men's. Put it back in the hat, and we'll pick the men's out here.
All right, here we go.
I had some interesting some thoughts on some of these teams when we pull them. There's one that might blow your mind, and it might blow NBA Plowboys' mind as well as other Tarleton State fans' minds. So let's go with the men.
Southern Utah is batting lead off again.
All right, so it's a double dip of Southern Utah next week.
Yeah.
All right, so Rob Jeter, year 2, was a little rough. Okay, they weren't healthy, right? They struggled through things. They went 12-19 overall, 4-12 in WAC, but they were never fully healthy. He never had his full roster, and the one time they did, they almost beat Utah Valley at the AFEC. But Tavy Jackson went down late with an injury. He re-injured his leg. He was out for the season after that. And it just, like, they were never healthy. But here's the problem. They lost everybody, right? None of their starters are back. He has to rebuild one name. This is their last season before they jump back into the Big Sky because all that conference realignment stuff. So they're jumping back into the Big Sky. One name to keep in mind that I've heard a lot about this summer, Jaden Ferroa. He's an Ivy League transfer. He's Draper, Utah native. I've been told he's really, really good. I haven't seen him, but I've just been told that. So keep an eye on that guy. But I'm telling you, Southern Utah may be cooking up something this year if they can stay healthy. Number 2.
Abilene Christian.
ACU, Brett Tanner's crew. Biggest question is Keon Williams. Is he back? Is he going to be with the team? Haven't heard anything official yet. So keep an eye on that. Big name. Braden Hubbard is a big name too. Had a big season last year for the Wildcats. ACU actually returns the most of any WAC team this year. So keep an eye on that. One name to remember, Joseph Van Zandt. He didn't play last year. He's Liberty transfer who didn't play last year due to an injury. Met his parents in Vegas. They're great, good people. But he's healthy this year, and it gives Brett Tanner another guard that can play defense and can score the ball. So keep an eye on ACU. Like I said, they have the most. However, can they find a scoring threat in the paint that Leo Bettiol provided before he transferred out this past season? So keep an eye on that. But ACU, is that back-to-back for ACU on those? Nope. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Next one.
That would have been defying statistical probabilities if we had back-to-back week 1, week 2.
That would have been crazy.
Utah Tech.
Utah Tech. Here's the biggest question, okay, for John Judkins and crew. Can they win close games? That has been the name of the game since Utah Tech joined the Division I ranks. They have gotten close. They've been competitive. They put people on upset alert, right? But they haven't been able to close out games. They got down 20, I think it was 22-2 in the first 10 minutes against Utah Valley in St. George last year, roared back, took a lead, and then had a chance to win at the buzzer, but Beyond Riley missed a deep 3. And it's that's the kind of game. And there was they had the UT Arlington loss. I was there for that. Another heartbreaker there. And you could see it on Judge Judkins' face. It was just so defeated. But then they beat Southern Utah in the play-in game, and he's so relieved, right? He's so proud, so happy for his guys. So can they win close games? Now they have to replace Beyond Riley. They have to replace Noah Gonzalez, who is one of the all-time greats at Utah Tech, right? They got Utah Valley transfer Ethan Potter. Madiba Awana. Keep that name in mind. He could be a star this season in Utah Tech's final season in this league, because they also go to the Big Sky next season. So,
and Kyle, I could totally relate to Judkins last year. My last year as a high school assistant, we were 4-18, but I swear to you, we probably could have won 15 of those losses.
Well, it's just you got to win games.
Yep.
Got to win games.
All right. Next up is UT Arlington.
UT Arlington. Talk about a team that probably returns the fewest. Rayshawn Seamster is the only guy back from that team last year. The only one. UT Arlington went 13-18 overall, 6-10 in WAC. That was 1 year after winning 20 games under KT Turner the first year, makes the WAC championship game. Rayshawn Seamster could be a WAC player of the year. Will be in the conversation preseason. Probably won't be the pick for it because I know there's somebody else on the West Coast that'll probably be the pick for it. But he will be a candidate as the only returner for KT Turner. So very young team for the Mavericks. Seamster and Troy transfer Marcus Rigsby Jr. are the only seniors on a young squad. So We'll see how that meshes. We know they like to play fast. We know they like to get after you defensively, but you got to have some experience too. So we'll see what happens in year 3 with the Mavericks here under KT Turner.
All right, here we go. CBU.
California Baptist, just right on time. Speaking of WAC Player of the Years, Dominic Daniels Jr. will probably be the WAC Player of the Year, preseason WAC Player of the Year, as he's back for one more run with the Lancers. Dude is just a ball. One of my favorites, man. The quickness, the ability to light somebody up from 3, just the quickness off the dribble, ability to finish at the rim. He's fun to watch. Man, I tell you what, it'll be. Keep an eye on that guy this year. He's going to put up another 20 burger, average 20 plus, points. Could lead the league in both points and assists, just the way he passes the ball as well. So, smallest guy on the court plays like the biggest giant on the floor. So, Rick Roy has to rebuild a little bit, but he somehow, some way, CBU finds talent. They were supposed to have Chris Mpaka from Tarleton State.
Who transferred back, right?
He transferred back to Tarleton State. So that's kind of a weird situation. Don't know what's going on there. But anyways, so California Baptist. Maybe
you'll get to see them a couple of times because they're going to be in the Beehive State for most of the preseason.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams coming to the Beehive State in the preseason. I'm kind of excited about it, to be honest.
All right.
Next up.
Here we go.
Going to be either Charleston
Utah Valley.
Utah Valley. All right. So let's talk about this Utah Valley team. Okay. You win 25 games. Win your second outright regular season title in 3 years. Okay. 15-1. You won 20 of 21 games from about the middle of December to the end of the regular season. Well, to the WAC title game, basically. Crazy run that Todd Phillips and his guys were on. But they won the WAC outright. They swept the ACU and Tarleton State road trip at the end of the season. I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to do. Yeah, pretty impressive what they did. But as you see it, when you win a regular season title, you make that kind of run, you're going to lose everybody. Carter Willing now at Clemson. Dom Nelson, WAC Player of the Year, now at Iowa State. Tanner Toulson, now at TCU. Osiris Grady transferred out to UC Riverside. Kylan Green is at Houston Christian, where he's going to be, the starting point guard. So Ethan Potter transferred out. There are 3 returners that played key minutes last year for Todd Phillips. Trevin Lenhart, which is huge because he's the point guard, right? And he knows the system. Jackson Holcomb, who had a really good year as a redshirt freshman. And Noah Tates, who I've heard is healthier than he's been since he's been at UVU. He's actually dunking in summer workouts. So, one name to keep in mind with the Wolverines that I've been told about, Sherman Weatherspoon the 4th. Guy can shoot it. And from what I've heard, they're better from the 3-point line than they were last year thus far in workouts and practices and stuff like that. So keep an eye on the Wolverines. Just a lot of rebuilding, though. So we'll see what happens with the Wolverines. Which leaves us with Tarleton State to wrap us up. Here's what I'm going to blow your mind with, Daryl. Okay. So I had to look it up to see it. Tarleton State. We don't know much about the Texans. Obviously, Chris Mpaka transferred back, even though he committed to CBU in the summer, or off season. So he went back. At least that's what the pictures showed when they went through their new fitness center, whatever.
Center, yeah.
D'Antoine Grimes could be a player of the year candidate, but when they had pictures of the new ECCU center, the new event center there, neither one of them was in the picture. So I don't know what's going on there. There's gamesmanship at Tarleton State with Billy Gillespie and what he does with his roster and when he puts it out, when he makes it official and stuff like that. But here's something I wanted to point out, okay? With Billy Gillespie as head coach, the Texans have not finished over 500. They finished at 500, but not over 500 since making the jump to Division I. Okay. Hear me out here. The only time they did that was the 2023-24 season when Joseph Jones was the acting head coach. I'm just pointing that out. I thought it was an interesting stat. Might blow some people's minds, but I thought it was an interesting stat. So
in that regard, I wonder if you filter out the bye games and the non-D1s, I wonder if he's batting 500.
he probably is. I'm just saying, like, I didn't look at all the conference games, all the way down, but man, it was an interesting stat. I'll have to look at the conference games just to determine that, but I still don't know that they hit 500 in all those.
Breaking news out of Stephenville this afternoon as the Texan women will host Kansas State for an exhibition in mid-October.
Yeah, the men are hosting TCU in that new ECCU center on October 19th. So they both get a nice exhibition game there in Stephenville to open up that new. That'll be an interesting thing too with the Tarleton State men's and women's basketball team. That place is going to be fantastic. I walked through it and it wasn't done when I was there in Stephenville back in late February. Fantastic. Like, it's beautiful. I didn't get to see all the signage. It wasn't ready. The floor wasn't down. It wasn't finished. So it's a beautiful facility, right? It's so much better than what they had at Wisdom Gym. The only question is, will the atmosphere be as good in that arena as it was at Wisdom Gym? That home court advantage they had with Wisdom Gym was a difference maker a lot of times.
Oh, absolutely.
Fans were right on the floor. They get under the other team's skin, and it was so compact, and it just a lot to it, right? And that'll be interesting to see. So, very interesting.
But like Clayton Neville, who calls the Tarleton women's game, said it was time. It was absolutely time for them to get a new facility.
I'm not saying it wasn't time. I'm just saying, will it be the same atmosphere that they had at Wisdom Gym? They needed a new arena. I get it, 100%. I'm all in favor of it because it's a beautiful facility, and they're going to have so many events there. I'm just saying, for men's and women's basketball, the home court advantage they had in Wisdom Gym, will that move over into that event center? That's my biggest question with Tarleton State. And I don't think I'll get too much of a chance to see it because they're only going to have this 1 year where I'm still covering the WAC. I'll keep following after that, but like, I don't. Yeah. Anyways, that's my biggest question mark for the. There's a lot of questions mark for every team in this league as we wind down this final season of as we begin the final season of the Western Athletic Conference. Daryl, anything you're really excited to see as we get going here? We're about 3.5 months, 3 months away.
70-some days from opening night.
Yeah, 2.5 months away. Jeez, crazy.
Couple of things for me. Bounce backs. How do Utah Tech and CBU bounce back from rather disappointing 24-25s? And then B, how do you follow up success for the WNIT 4?
It's a good question. Good question. Well, on the men's side, my biggest question marks are, can Utah Valley get over the hump? They've never been to the NCAA tournament. They've made it to their first ever WAC tournament title game last year. It fell short against GCU. Can they get over the hump, right? They've won regular season titles. They've done well in the regular season, but that WAC tournament has always kind of, been their, what's it called? Kryptonite, right? CBU, can they finally find the core around Dom Daniels to make that run, to be that team that I think a lot of people are thinking they could be or they could have been over the past couple of years? That's a big question. ACU, can they find the scoring that Leo Bettiol left, when he transferred out? That'll be a question mark. Southern Utah, I don't know anything about their roster except what I'm being told. And when I'm being told by their coaching staff and people around the program, they're really good or they look really good, blah, they're talented. Does that equate to success once you finally take the floor? So that'll be interesting. 7 teams, though. 3 have never been to the WAC or to the NCAA tournament. Somebody new is going to the NCAA tournament, unlike on the women's side where, it wasn't GCU or New Mexico State dominated. On the men's side, it was GCU, New Mexico State dominated. So it'll be nice to see somebody different represent the WAC at the NCAA tournament. So, it's good to get going, Daryl. I'm excited.
And we should probably hit on the new scheduling format for conference play, since we didn't hit on that with the 7 teams.
Yeah, let's point that out. Okay, so every team is playing every team 3 times. Some teams have to play 2 on the road and 1 at home, and vice versa. There's 3 byes, throughout that regular season schedule. Here's my thought on this. They had to do it because they only have 7 teams.
They had no choice.
You have to play 18 conference games, right? You can't just play like 14 or 16, whatever, which leaves you wide open for more, non-conference games, which is already tough for these teams in the WAC to get non-conference games. So what's it going to be like when you're playing a team for the 4th time in Las Vegas? You've already played them 3 times. You know what they're about. You know what they've done. You know everything about them. What's it going to be like playing them that 4th time where it matters the most? It doesn't matter those first 3 games, right? Like it does, but it doesn't, because the ultimate thing is what you do at Orleans Arena in March. So it'll be interesting. They had to do it because they only have 7 teams. I know some coaches don't like their schedule. I know some coaches are just like, you know what, we just got to go play the games. It doesn't matter, where we're at, what they did, which is true. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, you talk about scheduling, Kyle, and I mean, just look at the fact that, like, on the women's side, we're still waiting for 3 teams to put out non-conference schedules, and it's almost Labor Day. And I think on the men's side, you're looking at the same thing, right? 3 teams still waiting?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and Tarleton may have their schedule all put together. They just don't release it until the very last minute. So we'll see. Yeah. Anyways, everybody, we will be back probably Thursday this week if we get more news. If no news comes out, just look for the podcast episodes that I'm going to be putting out with Daryl as we get going. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. And make sure you subscribe to the WAC Hoops Nation newsletter. It's the final year. We're going to try and tell more stories. There's a lot of stories. There was one that I wanted to write, and we didn't get the recording of the press conference from the WAC tournament, so I got to follow up on that. But follow us, WACHoopsNation.com. Subscribe to that newsletter. We appreciate all the support over the years, everybody. And we look forward to a fun 2025-26 season. We're going to have more podcast episodes. We're going to have, when the season starts, we're going to have at least 2 Straight Outta WAC After Hours shows. We'll determine those in the non-conference slate, depending on schedules and how that plays out. But when the season comes, it'll be the nights that the teams are playing. We will have those this year. I'm not going to back out of those, and say I'm busy or something like that. We will have those. So for Dale and myself, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of Straight Outta WAC After Hours. You guys are awesome. I really hope that it didn't, not let you comment on this episode because it stopped, about 40 minutes ago. The comments stopped. So hopefully I'll have to check that out. But Daryl, any last words?
No, just excited to get going. We're 70 days to opening night now, and it'll be here before we know it. And one last go and one last trip to the Orleans for the WAC Arena. What's that song? Closing Time, right? We'll be playing that.
Yeah.
We'll be playing that in March at the Orleans.
Yeah. It's a sad, sad time to think about. Anyways, I'm not gonna be all sad right now. But anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. See you on the next episode of Straight Outta WAC After Hours.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow WAC Hoops Nation on all your favorite social media platforms.